Welcome back to ALPB Roundup. I am Ryan here with your daily roundup recapping all of last night's action before we get started on tonight's action. A little late in the game here for a couple of reasons. One, slowly redoing the studio space here, so I'm like an in-between stage. I got a fancy chair, but still working off of like a table with a cooler stacked on top of it. Look behind the scenes there. It's glamorous. Also a little late because the box scores and game recap situation that is on the Atlantic League site just kind of stopped working. I got notes for the most part on these games, and I saw some games, so I have an idea what's going on. But we might be a little short on specifics here. Don't take it personally. We'll start with High Point having their home opener. They welcomed the Barnstormers to town last night. Mitch Adkins looked great for the Rockers over 5 shutout innings, getting a great start under his belt to get things going. Left with a 1-0 lead. Unfortunately, he was relieved by Ryan Chaffee, who looked very bad, like bad. And he walked a couple guys. He gave up a hit, and then all of a sudden he was doubled over behind the mound. He was quickly relieved. It was referred to as a side injury in the official game recap. So hopefully that works out. Hopefully we're not looking at one of those long-term nagging side injuries that a pitcher can get. We're hoping for the best there. He has had success in this league back in, I think it was 2018. 2019 was rough for him with Southern Maryland, but we're really looking for him to have a bounce-back year. And I know High Point, who's losing guys left and right, especially in that bullpen, they're going to need him moving forward. So I believe that inning, they walked in at least one guy in the 6th inning, maybe 2. In the 8th inning, though, High Point would bounce back. Logan Morrison doing Logan Morrison things, contributing for High Point, hit a solo bomb. Michael Russell and Jared Mitchell both walked. They came around to score the deciding runs in their 4-3 win over the Barnstormers. What's the takeaway here, kids? We got walks bringing in guys in the 6th. We have walks coming around to score in the 8th. Both teams take the lead. Walks kill. Stop walking, people. Game ball goes to Kelly Dugan. Kelly Dugan, I know, had an RBI single. I know he did some other stuff, and that is where I really wish I had the box score, because I was watching the game live. I was like, Kelly Dugan, yeah, that's my dude, even in a loss for Lancaster. And now we're here, and I just feel like an idiot. Like, here's Kelly Dugan. Here's a game ball for him. We'll keep track of those throughout the season. Whoops. Rutgers' Jake Petricka, his contract had been purchased by the Angels. I think we found that out mid-game. Came in the other night to grab a save, and that was good enough to get a contract. So 8th signed Rocker of 2021, but as I said, they are going to need to be able to fill that talent back in as it goes out from High Point. So happy for them, but also a little concerned. Elsewhere, Long Island made the drive to Charleston after taking 3 of 4 from Lexington to open the season. West Virginia stopped that momentum, winning 4-3. The Ducks, and well, this game really went down the wire. That was kind of a theme for the night. The Ducks entered the 8th inning down 3-1, but a home run from Daniel Fields off Pat Broadway cut the margin to 1. Jesse Berardi scored after reaching on an error to tie the game, but it was for nothing because with 2 out in the bottom half of that 8th inning, Alberto Callaspo and Elmer Reyes found their way on with singles, and Yovan Gonzalez got it done with an RBI single to take the lead. Also took a game ball for that effort. Gene Maki, he locked down his 2nd save of the young season, so he looks good out of the pen early for West Virginia. That Power looks like a well-put-together team. I mean, it's worth noting, there's kind of an imbalance, especially in that Long Island West Virginia series of guys with MLB experience. But West Virginia hung with them. They had the lead almost the entire game, and they look like a good, well-put-together ball club, even if they don't have like that star power, for lack of a better term, that you might find on some of these other teams. Moving right along to another team with not so much star power, but finding a way to get it done, Gastonia, who hosted York. They played a good one. Honey Hunters would end up winning 10-9, and a lot happened in this game. Again, I wish I had the box score so I could really dig in. Here's what I got off the top of my head here. Catch me up. We're like in the 8th inning here. Gastonia is up 8-3, top of the 8th, and the bullpen, as it did several times in our opening series, just became a horror show. Again, not including Riley Hovis. That's the second game we've had to say that, where what happened to the bullpen? Riley Hovis was good. Riley Hovis, he bounced back from a rough outing in his 2nd appearance for the team. He looked good tonight. I think it was his 2nd. I'm pretty sure it's only his 3rd appearance out. But he looked good tonight. But beyond that, they blow this thing. York finds themselves up 9-8. Gastonia comes roaring back, though, in the bottom of the 9th. Reaches, and this is going to be some nerd stat stuff, a leverage index peak. So, like, leverage index is, like, how important is this play to the result of the game? Like, if it's early and, not much has happened, there's plenty of innings left, leverage is low. If it's a 9-0 game with 2 outs in the 9th, the leverage is low. But the highest possible leverage situation happens. Bags are packed. Gastonia down by 1, 2 outs in the 9th. And what does Alexis Gomez do? He rises to the occasion. He plates 2 with a single. Honey Hunters walk it off. Honey Hunters have 2 wins, both walk-offs. Show up to Gastonia for a show, baby. Alexis Gomez, as I said, he gets the game ball on that one. Another walk-off win for them. York, though, make no mistakes, and I really like York. They're one of the 2 teams closest to me. I'm familiar with them. York blew this game. They blew it. And there's no way around it. There's no other way to say it. First of all, 6 errors. And I don't recall the last time I saw a team where I was like, that's a good team, make 6 errors. And I do think York's a good team. I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs this year, but certainly not because of their fielding. I don't know where this is coming from. 6 errors, and I don't have all of them in front of me. Regardless of how they happen, I think there was a lot of like weird little, like trying to flip a ball through the infield, get something turned at second drops. There's been a lot of those early in the season. Bad throws. It's unacceptable. And you can't be making your pitching staff get 33 outs after a drive to Gastonia, North Carolina, which I just made recently. It's a long drive from PA. You can't be getting off the bus. You need to make the most of this. They were able to get out, fight their way back from an 8-3 deficit. We're given a bit of a gift from Gastonia's bullpen melting down. And then just to ask so much of your pitching staff. 33 outs. 27's a lot. 33 is nearly impossible. They basically played an 11-inning game defensively today. At least on the mound they did, because they might not have even played a 9-inning game in the field. But I digress. And by the way, I feel like at least one of those errors was the pitching staff. So I'm not just coming down on everyone but the pitchers. Going on the record there. Also unacceptable, and I've seen it twice with my own eyes, and unacceptable is not really a rhyming word. I'm a friendly guy. It drives me crazy. I love the double hook DH rule. It's terrific. Guys, get on the same page here. What are we doing? Managers need to adapt to what's going on, and I don't know what's going on in the dugout. I don't know what happened the first time when I brought this up. I don't know the second time when I brought this up, but I've seen it, and I cannot wrap my brain around why it would be happening in a way that makes sense. Pitching changes. The situation is you have a relief pitcher in the game who's due to hit. You have 2 options. You let that relief pitcher hit, and I love it. Let those pitchers hit. I'm an anti-DH guy to begin with, so if I had my way, pitchers hitting all day long. Or you use your pinch hitter for him, which is fine. Go for that option. It's probably got you a way better chance to get a hit. We have the numbers. I've now seen it twice that for some reason, something maybe short circuits or they weigh the options in a way that statistically does not make sense. And all of a sudden you have a pitcher going up there to hit, which again is okay. But then that same pitcher is immediately removed before throwing another pitch in the next inning. So why are we keeping the pitch around? Other than we just believe it. He's like, Coach, I got this. I used to rake in college, even if he totally didn't, like the LSU kid who lied back in the day. Got to get together. Show up. These games are counting. It's a 120-game season. You cannot afford these mistakes. You cannot afford 6 errors on the field. And in my opinion, not knowing the full situation, a 7th error in the dugout. Going to more positive things. The Legends have won their first Atlantic League game in front of their home fans, winning 5-4 over the Blue Crabs. They move to now 2-3. Lexington does all in its young season. Beniklinski homered twice, 3 this season already, in just his first 11 at-bats, so those 3 home runs came. First off of Sam Burton, made it 2-0 in the second. Again tagged Sam Burton again in, I think it was the 4th inning. Don't have that one written down. I think it was the 4th. I think that made it 5-1 Lexington. Kent Blackstone doubled and eventually scored in the 7th. Kent Blackstone, he's been hitting all right this year to start. Kent Blackstone, though, is known for his fielding, and I have down he has 4 errors. I haven't gotten to backtrack each of them. I have to double check the stat because it doesn't feel like a Kent Blackstone stat. How do you play 5 games and have 4 errors? And I think maybe even had a day off in there. I'm not sure. Don't quote me. Don't have it in front of me. But what I know is he seems to have 4 errors on this young season. And I got questions there. Because if you're the Blue Crabs, you have a good pitching staff lined up. You might need some help offensively here and there, but you certainly cannot be falling apart in the field. Same message to York here. I'm going to leave that alone. I like Kent Blackstone. I think he's a good player. I think he's going to figure this out, but it is a whoa, how do we not mention it? Zach Collier, he pinch hit in the 8th for the Blue Crabs for Dalton Geeky. Dalton Geeky, by the way, had his first outing out of the pen. Looked good in his debut. Something to be excited about in Southern Maryland. Collier goes Yahtzee, but it wasn't enough as the Legends would go on to win 5-4 despite Collier's nice homer. Beniklinski takes those 2 dong shots to the bank and an ALPB Roundup game ball. And that's what we got for Daily Roundup. Things to look forward to tonight. All those series continue. We have some further discussions coming up. It might be a website post with a YouTube video. We're not sure how we want to do it. One is a deep dive into the RoboZone right now because there have been some bad calls in the RoboZone. Not sure what the deal is there. It could be calibration issues. I know Gastonia has had a bunch of them, and we're collecting the screenshots from the strike zone tracker compared to the calls being made. It might be guys lying about their height because a lot of these strikes that are being called are definitely high. But if like they were in 2019, they're using the media guide height, and those guys like to be like, sure, I'm 6'2", buddy, you're 5'11". So that might be throwing off the high strike zone. There's some arguments about the low strikes being called right now, but I'm going to be honest. I've scoured every controversial low strike I've been able to find or been sent by people, and they have all checked out as strikes. I mean, if it clips the strike zone, and they have changed the strike zone relative to 2019, by the way. It's no longer that 3D zone that looks like the home plate that goes up toward the hitter's armpits. It's like a flat plane, almost like if you look at soccer or football when they're like, oh, did he cross the goal line? It's more like that. It's where the ball crosses there. That's at least as far as my understanding of it is right now. And those diving sliders and some curveballs and occasional like other like front hip two-seamers, they're cutting in and they're getting the strike zone. So as far as I've seen, that's what I'm seeing. But we have a few issues that I'm digging into now. I'd be interested to talk about that. And we're going to continue to track this double hook rule. I'm working on some data analysis on where you should hit your DH because it's a very interesting situation. Typically in a DH situation, you just put him in the spot that he fits best in the lineup. However, you have to remember, where does he fit best in the lineup versus where am I comfortable having a pitcher/pinch hitter show up in the lineup in those money innings? So we're working on that. There's 3 theories that seem to be the main ones. Hit them in the top 3 spots in order to make the most of those DH at-bats and then worry about it later. Hit them in the bottom 3 so you can kind of hide the pinch hitter and pitcher later, try to hold off their at-bats. Or put them in the middle 3 and kind of split the difference. What isn't an option is batting the relief pitcher and then taking him out. I'm Ryan from ALPB Roundup. I'll talk to you tomorrow.